They do nothing, and we draw land. So it's a 4, so we can't Vivian here. If we drew a green source, I would have Vivian. Still, we get the swing in with the Arboreal Grazer to reduce that cost, and all of a sudden, it's an 8 damage swing there while there are 2 lands. That's pretty good. How's it going, y'all? TitansFan920. Today we're back with some more Gruul action this time. If you remember my previous videos from Standards ago, like my favorite Standard format was whenever Gruul Midrange, Gruul Planeswalkers were a big deck. I think that was when Standard was super fun while back on Arena, and as you remember, I played the crap out of Gruul there. Well, with Once Upon a Time in the meta before, the Gruul Planeswalkers editions wasn't very good because you couldn't really hit any of your creatures with Once Upon a Time playing too many Planeswalkers, but like the Planeswalkers just wasn't really worth it there. But now in this new meta, we have Oven decks going around, we have fires, and sometimes you just got to Embercleave over some fools with some big, strong Planeswalkers. So that's what this deck is. This is a Jeff Hoogland special here. Saw it on his stream the other day. Love seeing the deck, and I was like, I gotta play this thing. So I can't take credit. Unfortunately, I can't take credit for creating this one. Even though I did a lot of work on the first one that came out, like back in the old Standard, I had a lot to do with that one. This one, nothing. So for anybody who isn't familiar with this, you're playing 4 Arboreal Grazer to start off, because you'll have a 1-mana Accelerant if you can, drop another land into play. So that way, turn 2, you have all these different turn 3 plays here. Main deck Threshing Brontodon, still a 3/4 body, which is good on its own. But you know how artifacts and enchantments run around with fires and ovens around right now. So a main deck answer to that is good on its own is good. Most of the time, I'm wanting to get a turn 2 Domri out. Being able to do that and plus up, add some more mana to do something else is pretty good. 4-drop slot here, we're playing some Vivien Archbow Rangers and Questing Beast. And at the 5-drop slot, just Skarrgan Hellkite, Sarkhan, and Embercleave. Oh, baby. I know this may not seem like the typical Embercleave deck that you're used to because it doesn't play a ton of creatures. But when you're getting up to that mana where you have your Sarkhans and your Vivians, just big things out anyway, Embercleaving with those things is just devastating, especially when everything's flying in the air there. It makes it really evasive and hard to get around. So this is the deck here. This is what we got. Mana base, sweet and simple. 19 basic lands, 4 Stomping Grounds, 2 Fabled Passage. Nothing crazy here. Sideboard-wise, Red Cap Melee is really underplayed, I think, for a sideboard card. Just doing 4 damage to a target creature or Planeswalker. And, if it's, especially the red one is really good. 2 Fry, 2 Scorching Dragonfire in the creature matchups, 1 more Domri in the creature matchups, 2 Thrashed Brontodon, both for aggro and for fires, for oven, that kind of thing. 4 Ceratops, Simic Flash, another Vivian, and Embercleave, the last 2 that are in here. I feel like Vivian's good against a lot of decks, but I guess she's not very good against control. So you probably board out the Vivians against control, but in here, any non-control deck, probably want the extra one in there, I guess. Especially like mid-range strategies for sure. Embercleave, this is a weird one because I feel like you just always want to have Embercleave too, so I'm not sure when you actually would board this in, but I guess we'll play and find out. So that's the deck. That's what we got. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go. Alright, first game of the day here is against Wagonite. As you see by the thumbnail, I'm a dummy and didn't have my microphone corded again, so we're going to be doing a little bit of post-commentary here, and that is A-okay. Looking at this opening hand of ours, not the quickest in the world, but it is very threat-heavy with 2 Gruul Spellbreakers, a Sarkhan, Questing Beast, and a Domri off the top, and Domri's not a bad one to see there. Start off with Stomping Grounds, pass the turn. They play a Gilded Goose here, make a food. We're going to see an oven come down. We're going to see an oven come down. We are playing some against Golgari oven. Forest off the top, still doing nothing so far. Slow start for us. Let's see if we can make it happen. Opponent's turn, they're looking, they're thinking. They play a Castle Lockwing tapped because they have no forest, but a Trella comes down. Not a bad start for them. They've already got the Gilded Goose, 2 foods, Witch's Oven, but they are down to 3 cards in hand. Here we draw a Bonecrusher Giant, so we have the potential of maybe shooting the Goose, but if we do, then they can just respond by sacking it with the Oven, so that's not really a good trade for us. So instead, we just play down the Domri. That way, if we draw another land, we have another land. So we have the potential of a Sarkhan next turn if we need to. We could also play a Questing Beast and have it fight something. So for now, we just play, add up on the Domri, and pass the turn. Opponent's here at 4 mana. What do they got for us? They're looking, they're thinking, Murderous Rider. So Murderous Rider, you don't want to see your Domri die, but at the same time, that's out of there, and that leaves the way open for Questing Beast to come in and start just getting the ground and pound on. So that's what we do. Play it on the forest. Questing Beast coming to town. Let's go. We also have the 3 green if we happen to draw a Vivian. One thing I noticed playing this deck is triple green is pretty hard in a deck like Gruul when you don't have the temples and whatnot. Still definitely doable, but it's not going to be consistent all the time. Here they just play off the creature side of Murderous Rider and pass the turn. That's not good for them. They probably wanted to do more than that. Here we shock in. I wanted to shock that in so that way I could be just threatening an Embercleave. I'm at 5 mana there. It's possible I could have it. However, obviously we don't. They can't block here anyway. So they think they're just going to make another food more than likely here. They go down to 10. We follow that up with a little Sarkhan. They can Sarkhan this, am I right? Trail comes activation, and they're looking. They're searching for an answer here. All their food's gone now, which is good for us. See if they find anything. They find another Witch's Oven. Not terrible, but a little bit too late for that. They do go to 13, though, so all of a sudden the lethal that we did have on them is not lethal. Well, actually, it still is. No, it's not. It's 12. They go to 13. If we had a Domri out, that'd be lethal. So they got to have something big here, though, because their board is much more dominating than theirs is. Their engines, like, they've had most of the pieces there, just haven't really drawn into any of the actual threats. And that's the problem with some of those decks where you have a big engine like that, is you have all engine parts and no actual payoffs if you get unlucky. So, opponent's thinking here, trying to figure out what to do. Going to have to be good, though. And I think this is where, yeah, so the Massacre Girl comes down here. It maybe appears like BM on my part, and maybe it is a little bit, honestly. I think they did their math wrong here, and it was just kind of funny to me. So you see they're one short here from really doing anything. So I believe they were just trying to dig. So they got a -1 on that Murderous Rider, so now they can play their Oven down and sacrifice that. But as you see, it's still not going to be enough. So instead of, I think this was just their way of saying, hey, I messed up. We're going to go ahead and cancel this game. So they quit there, and they're probably pretty pissed about how that happened, because I don't think that's the result they wanted for, to play a Massacre Girl and kill 2 of their own creatures. So we begin to sideboard here, throw in some Thrashing Brontodon, throw in some Scorching Dragonfire. However, they rage quit, so we go ahead. We get our first win in Silver 4. Big wins, big wins. Let's go to the next game. And that's against Dude Man 79. So we get to take the play at this game. And the opener, only 2 green sources. We do a Paradise Druid. If it wasn't for the Paradise Druid, this is an easy mole. But I think with Paradise Druid, we saw the potential of a turn 3 questing beast, which is pretty good. So let's see what the opponent does here. Dude Man thinking. So we start off player forest, pass the turn, nothing doing here. Opponent starts off with a Temple of Malady once again. It seems like Oven is the new hotness now and everybody's trying to do it. Very well aware that the deck is good, but it's just not. I don't think it's a fun deck to play. Definitely don't like playing against it. It's pretty frustrating and just a lot of triggers. It's one of those I'd much rather play on paper. They play a little Cauldron Familiar. And another Temple. So, not the explosive start our other opponent had last game, but still not bad for them. They got the Scry some here. We draw a Forest off the top, so we have the possibility of going to Questing Beast on 2. However, with this Domri here, I think I'm kind of inclined to possibly play that, so that way we have access to red mana. We decided to go with the QB, just get the beats in there. They can't block it. Get them down to 17. Because there's one thing that's really good against these kind of decks. Questing Beast gives no folks about a Cauldron Familiar. They play that, throw down a Trail of Crumbs, which is good for us. That means our Questing Beast isn't getting Murderous Ridered. We're pretty happy about that. They play another Cauldron Familiar. Go to 18 all. But if you look, our board's a little bit scarier here. So now we got a pretty interesting decision here. We draw an Domri's Ambush. They don't have a Witch's Oven to sacrifice anything, so I decided to be the most mana efficient I can. Pretty good play here. We play the Domri. We could be minus in fight, but however, we want that extra counter on there. So we plus up, add the red mana, and this is the first red mana they've seen all day. Domri's Ambush on one of their Cauldron Familiars. And it's possible maybe I wanted to put that on the Paradise Druid so I could start attacking through, but I think just getting 6 damage in there, pretty good. The only way they're going to have to kill that anyway is a Murderous Rider. They take 2 more damage from that. And if they kill it, I've just got another Questing Beast on backup and, a lot of threats here. And that's what I've been really liking about this deck is you're so threat heavy and so many draws you have are explosive. You're not just moping around. So they have Wicked Wolf here, which can take care of my Paradise Druid, which is annoying because that's one of my red sources. So if I were to, if I were to need double red here for Sarkhan, that would be unfortunate. They have to sacrifice the food here to take that out. You saw me say you go. That's because I had to edit out like almost a full minute of waiting on them. So Paradise Druid down, but we do draw a red source now. So here they have no food, so I just go ahead, fight, get that out of here. We still got 2 loyalty on this Domri anyways. And then let's really try to get the beats on. Very possible that I wanted to play this Gruul Spellbreaker out as a 4/4. So that way if they played a Wicked Wolf, they would have to eat a food to not die to it. However, we got 10 damage coming in here. I figured let's just get the beats on. We can still trample over this thing for 2. So after that swing, we get them down to 3. Look at they have nothing on board here, and we have all this power. Don't think they can do much of anything about this. They can play out they play out their land, but yeah, nothing doing for them there. So let's go to sideboard. In the sideboard, we bring the Brontodons. We bring in the Scorching Dragonfire. Basically anything we can do to either just exile their creatures with the Scorching Dragonfire, or be able to use the Brontodon to blow up their oven or Trail of Crones if needed, and it's still a 3/4 body on its own, which is fine. We got 4 cards we want to take out here. Trying to think of what to do. The Domri's Ambush, even though it worked out well for us that game, a lot of their creatures just moping. We're kind of just be on the aggressive end. So we take 2 of those out and 2 of the Bonecrusher Giants, because the only thing we can really hit with the Bonecrusher Giant is the Gilded Goose. Otherwise, bolting down a Cauldron Familiar doesn't feel very good. So we run with this. Game 2 on the draw. Let's see how it goes. Opener here is pretty sweet. We got a Arboreal Grazer on 1 to get us down to 2 mana. Keep up with them here. And if we get to turn 3, we have the possibility of a turn 2 Thrashing Brontodon or Gruul Spellbreaker. So we start off with a little Grazer action on here. Put down the Stomping Ground tapped and pass the turn. They play a Temple of Milady. So here we're thinking about Scorching Dragonfire on a turn. However, they play the Witch's Oven, so all of a sudden that plan goes out the window there, which kind of stinks for us. We unfortunately do not draw a 3rd land, which is a slap in the face considering we've got all these different 3-drops in hand. Hate to see it. They get a little bit too aggressive here though, and I guess they wasn't considering the Scorching Dragonfire. So we put a stop on their upkeep we go to pass first. They decide to go ahead and bring this back now. Not sure why. I guess they're trying to get the most damage they can here. But because of their greed, we go ahead and get that exiled. Get that out of here. One part of that mopey, stupid engine down. And then you see me struggling here to get that stop off the upkeep. Turn 3, little Midnight Reaper coming to town. Wouldn't have minded to have the Scorching Dragonfire for that either, but it happens. However, we do draw a Bonecrusher Giant. However, Bonecrusher Giant is not a land, so we're doing what we can to fight back here, but we're really just falling too far behind. Really sucks to start off with the 2 lands there and just not see another one. Wicked Wolf coming down. We're deciding what to do here. I think I'm pretty dead though, honestly. And as you can see, there's just not many things for this Bonecrusher to do. Midnight Reaper's a good target for it, but we're still kind of just in an awkward spot, y'all. So we take down their Midnight Reaper since they've already played their card for turn. However, they just sack it with the Witch's Oven, and that feels really bad for us. Which is another reason why the Bonecrusher Giant just doesn't fit very well in these games here, post-sideboard. So now we're staring down a Wicked Wolf on our end, trying to figure out what to do here. We finally draw a land. So we have decisions to make here. The Thrashing Brontodon can block, however, a 4/4 blocks a little bit better. But it's still just not a good look for us whenever they can just attack into it. If they block, they can eat that food. Opponent's turn here. Let's see what they got. They play another Wicked Wolf. At this point, they can just fight down our Gruul Spellbreaker, so we go ahead and just call it quits there. Let's not waste anybody's time. Sideboard, still like what I got there. The two Bonecrushers are awkward, but I'm not sure what else I'd want to put in there. So we go ahead and just go with this. Let's see if we can't aggro them out a little bit here, being on the play. So we'll play first. Opener, a little bit awkward, can't do that. But this one's pretty good. We do have that weird kind of trouble here with an Embercleave, Grazer, and Vivian. Not very good targets for each other. But hey, maybe we can be, if we can be Embercleaving and Arboreal Grazer, that's pretty good. So we start off, play Arboreal Grazer, throw the Stomping Ground down tapped, and pass the turn. Going to need one more green source for this Vivian, and we can start playing that. Looking for a good draw on our draw step here, and we find probably the perfect one. This is a Thrashing Brontodon on turn 2. Nice little 3/4 body on 2, and if you look at it, if we draw a land next turn, we can actually Embercleave on turn 3. They do nothing, and we draw a land. So it's a 4, so we can't Vivian here. If we drew a green source, I would have Vivianed. Still, we get the swing in with the Arboreal Grazer to reduce that cost, and all of a sudden, it's an 8 damage swing there while they're at 2 lands. That's pretty good. So Embercleave on the battlefield, great for us. They pass the turn here. I figure they probably have a Murderous Rider more than likely, so we're playing the Vivien here. They're just dead if they don't Murderous Rider that. So when I distribute these counters, instead of putting them both on this Brontodon, I go ahead and spread them out. So that way I still present lethal here if they don't have it, but they have to kill this now or they're just dead. So they Murderous Rider, nothing too surprising there. We put one counter on our Arboreal Grazer. Get it up to a 1/4, which is noteworthy though, because that keeps it out of dying from a Wicked Wolf if they play that. So let's see what opponents got here. Next turn we can put more counters on the Grazer, swing in with Embercleave, and we're feeling pretty good there. If they play anything with 1 toughness, we could just have Vivien do damage to it, equip it, swing in big time. Let's see what they do here. We know they can play the Murderous Rider as a creature. They decide to go with Midnight Reaper, which is actually great for us because it does 2 damage, or it does damage to itself when it dies. So we're thinking we could equip this and have it fight there, but then we're still just swinging 4 total. So instead we just throw the 2 counters on here, equip this because they're going to have to block anyway. I mean, they could possibly go to 1, that's just not good for them. So instead they block here, take 2 there, take an additional 1 here, and then they still go down to 2. And now the good thing is we have this Vivien at 6, so even if they have an answer for the Arboreal Grazer there, we can just go to our sideboard to grab a Shifting Ceratops with haste and win the game from there. So they don't have anything there. We get the game 2-0 with the deck, and with that win, that brings us up to Silver 3, 2 ticks into it because Silver is very, very easy to get out of. Let's go ahead and play one more. So we play against Evad Sullivan on the draw again. Not where we want to be, but we'll take it. Still waiting on the opponent. Y'all got to be faster. I know Silver's not the highest rank out there, but we can at least play like we played Magic before. So opener here is pretty disgusting. We have 2 Arboreal Grazers. We have the 4 mana on turn 2 here if we want to. That's pretty mean. He plays a swamp, looks himself, and what do you know? It's another Oven deck. That Sarkhan off the top is super exciting because we can have a possibility here of a turn 3 Sarkhan. Not bad. Opponent plays a Fabled Passage. They're still effectively a 1 mana here, and they play nothing, so they don't have anything else to go with their package here. We have the possibility of going Gruul Spellbreaker here. However, I'm more excited about just being able to guarantee that if we draw a land, we can turn 3 Sarkhan. So even though I could play the Spellbreaker here, okay. I'm actually remember that wrong. We actually do play the Spellbreaker. Had the possibility of doing the Arboreal Grazer to throw a land down, but I think my reasoning there was if I didn't get that, then we were just setting ourselves a turn behind. So we play this Gruul Spellbreaker. Next turn, we can still play a Questing Beast no matter what, and we're good to go. And even though these Oven decks are really good and have a great engine, sometimes you just out-aggro them, and that's the thing here. Next turn, he'll be turn 4, we're swinging 7 damage at him. Or sorry, turn 3, and we're swinging 7 damage at them. Not a lot of decks are going to be able to keep up with that pretty favorably unless they have some really good answers to you. So yeah, I recall, we're on the draw here. So they shock that in and play a Midnight Reaper, which is A-okay for us. Hellkite off the top, so we made the right decision playing that Gruul Spellbreaker because we didn't hit that land anyway. Here, we just play the Questing Beast. And they just give it up there, which is pretty good because we had a tough decision on there on whether we wanted to attack with the Spellbreaker or not, but I think they just had no answers for it. So even though it's Grixis, we still put the 2 things, the Scorching Dragonfires, the Cinder, or the Thrashing Brontodon. I'm not sure if the Scorching Dragonfire was a good call there, but since they do have the Midnight Reaper, I think that was the way to go. Otherwise, we're thinking of what to take out here. Once again, Domri's Ambush comes out, and I'm stupid and actually forgot to desideboard my other card there, so I'm going in here with 61 cards, but that's the new meta, folks. Watch out. So, game 2 against Evad Sullivan and his Grixis Oven deck, it looks like. We'll find out more later what that is. Opener here, we're going to need some more green mana here, but if we get it, this is a pretty beautiful hand, and being on the draw, I think we can draw into it, so we keep this. They start off with little Bloodfell Caves and pass the turn, and there's that green mana we asked for, so looking good there. Next turn, we'll have this Bonecrusher Giant and Stomp ready to roll. They play a Stormfist Crusader. So not quite sure what they're trying to do here, but we do know Stormfist just gets them a little bit too much card advantage, so we go ahead and just kill that. Possible we wanted to draw more so we can have some cards as well, since we are kind of the aggressive deck here, but being on the draw, the plan just doesn't suit our needs quite as much. Turn 3 here, they throw down the Mayhem Devil. And it's our turn, so now we have a decision. We can either put down a Thrashing Brontodon, have a 3/4 body that can block that favorably. We can play the Bonecrusher Giant, which is 4/3, can trade with that. We could have also played a Paradise Druid and try to guarantee we have a 4-drop for next turn. We just play the Bonecrusher Giant for now, keep all these cards in hand. 4 mana for opponent. A Wrinkle would be pretty devastating here, making a sacrifice that. They do a little Fires of Invention. Hoping for nothing too big here. It's another Mayhem Devil. Not bad, but not super devastating in the position we're in now. Unfortunately, we miss on a land here. If we dropped the land, we would have probably just Thrashing Brontodon and blew up that Fires of Invention. But for the time being, I'm just going to wait and see what we need to do here. So I swing, offering a trade here, seeing how much they want to keep that Mayhem Devil. They take 4, so instead we just play a Brontodon down and pass the turn. Can still block a Mayhem Devil just fine. And if they want to trade that, I think I'm okay with that trade too. So here we're just kind of starving for mana a little bit. Opponent's looking, they decide to bedevil here. Okay, they have one more card in hand. Let's see what they can do here. This is the scary part of Fires of Invention, just seeing what all these cards do. However, it's pretty obvious now they're out of gas in hand. They're kind of in stop tech mode. Fortunately, we're still not hitting lands here. So instead of playing another Brontodon, I just play a Paradise Druid. That way I can guarantee next turn I have more plays to do. Thinking about attacking here, but instead I just hold it back. 6 damage versus 4 damage are going to win that race, so we got to hold off there. So opponent does nothing, and they go to attack, which leads me to believe that they just, kind of bricked off again. Still, if I can get one of these Mayhem Devils out of here, I'm okay for that trade. So I trade there. We have plenty of aggressive cards in hand, just a matter of getting them out now. Opponent plays a land, and obviously they have nothing else. We finally draw a land here. So we have 5 mana here total, but all our plays are at least 6 mana, so instead we just play the QB. We're thinking about it. But spoiler alert, we play the Questing Beast. I guess we could also play the Brontodon and the Paradise Druid, but at this point we know they're out of cards and they don't have much of anything, so we're going to win that race now for swinging. So we swing in 6 there. Opponent's thinking about what to do. Witch's Oven, it's a card, but it doesn't really do anything here. They have nothing to really sacrifice. We draw another green source. What do we do? Here we have options. We can Vivian Arcbow Ranger, do something, and play the Paradise Druid. We could also play Thrashing Brontodon and Gruul Spellbreaker. We could also play Brontodon, sack it, kill the Oven, or the Fires of Invention, and then play Paradise Druid. We got a lot of options here, so I'm thinking about it. Not really sure what to do here. Figure, let's go to attacks first. See if he wants to trade this here. And since he does it, I figure let's just get this board wide. Don't think they're going to have board wipes in their deck of cards like that, where they're just trying to do Oven stuff. So we play the Thrashing Brontodon, and then we were going to play the Spellbreaker, but they concede, and we get a nice 3-0. That's the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.